352 to 354. That's the gap at the top right now between Stretch and Dub. And things are so close. These two are neck and neck.
It's hundreds and thousands of players whittled down to the top 100, and now a duel of fates at the top in the NA East Grand Finals. There's only one game left.
Every single time we're in the end game, it feels like these guys are there. No matter where they end up, they have a say on the tournament. This is it. There's no more chances after this, no deaths off spawn. Otherwise, that means opportunities for anybody else. And for these two, Shio, it is a story of them getting their first major tournament win. Dubs has pretty much nothing to prove with what he's done in the past in terms of all his tournament performances, but Stretch is the guy who left and is not with Boog anymore. And a lot of people say he's overrated, but this right here is proving everybody wrong.
Stretch is fighting for that top spot 100%, and he's getting there game after game. Meanwhile, Dubs, you have to remember, Mega did not qualify. His dual partner, the man with him in every single crime that is committed on the actual island. We'll see actually who pulls through in this game. It's a 1v1.
3 days of competition, 3 qualifiers through the heats and then into the semis and down to 100, and only basically 2 remain to get that top spot. Of course, still $250,000 split between all the regions and all the placements, and a lot can ride on just a few points anywhere on the leaderboard. You think of people like Riftmole, who have risen to the top over time and now find themselves in the top 10. Same thing with Zexro, same thing with Walkman and other players all around the leaderboard. Now is time to solidify the final moments of the game. It's game 8 of the DreamHack Open.
The last drop off the bus. All the emotions that have been riled up from an off-spawn mishap, from an end game elimination, rile up to this moment. Where do you choose to lay your mark at the DreamHack Open? Stretch will choose Misty Meadows as usual. We will see Caddy with Frisk. Dubs though, question is, where will he land at Fortia? We can already see the arrows down there. They're multiplying rapidly. Henchmen also all the way around. Stretch is uncontested. He's been so safe thus far. Price has fallen from the top spot, but still, he controls many fates with the shockwave launcher over at Caddy.
Yeah, but 3 people are going to be landing with him. This has been a story that Frisk has not been kind with, especially with Edgy. This time, it's perfect. He gets the drop. It's so wonderful every time. This is what it takes to drop every single, and here it is. He gets Kit's charge again, almost certainly, unless Kit pulls something crazy out, but I highly doubt that. Here we go, finish him off. So, this is an opportunity for Frisk to come way back, skyrocketing himself all the way up. He does not have to chase Commandment down. He does not have to do any tough work to get this shockwave launcher. All he needs to do is secure the vault quickly and get out of here and get a ton of eliminations to catch back up.
Commandment will try to disrupt this POI as much as possible, get that shockwave launcher, and try to climb the ranks himself. Versa will be in his way though as a stopping guard. Meanwhile, Stretch gets to loot everything over at Misty Meadows. Still a fight at Yacht that goes on every single time. Henchman though still alive. Commandment has Peppers, being forced to actually where Frisk is.
Uh-oh.
This could be another premature ending, who knows, but it's an SMG versus Kit's charge. Only time can tell what happens. Bryce does not find a home anymore on that Yacht. It's taken over by 2 Titans in their own regards. Back though with Commandment.
Quickly into the fray with Frisk. And then dodges right back out to the other side, maybe catching back up to Versa, or maybe setting up a pinch for himself. The Pepper's still active, and Versa is in the fight now. Bucky, 246 points.
Talk about the 1v1s at the top of the leaderboard. Yes, there's a fight for first, but Frisk is basically neck and neck with Divine, who is just a mere 13 points ahead of him. So getting a crucial elimination right now could just tighten that gap. And then after that, endgame becomes that much closer.
I see in the feed, Commandment is down, but a third foe enters. A new enemy has joined the fray. It's Throw It Deep W. The big Ronnie, and Frisk finishes his fight as Bucky cleans up aggro. I'm paying attention a lot to the feed because there's so much happening. Look at the uncontested spot in Misty Meadows. Somebody has pushed them out. There's only 2 players here, and Stretch gets to Stretch. so much extra loot available to him now, and so much extra potential in this game, in the final game.
He gets to have upgrades, he gets to have any shields that he wants. Slurpfish could be a possibility with all the fridges that are available all around this POI. It's about 30 chests you're giving to the man in first place. That is a recipe for an absolute victory.
Wow, Ronnie did take down Versa. Oh no, sorry, Frisk took down Versa and Ronnie took down Commandments. It's still a fight here, and attack will be good against what Frisk does, which is missing the first shot, but it doesn't matter. A couple ARs and a charged shotgun shot later. Frisk is out of here, still has to deal with so much, still not going for the vault, just in case. Because there's a player lurking over the hill. This might be it for Frisk, but no, gets down below the mountain. And I think he's out of dodge. I think he's to safety as he pops the big pops.
Needs to live here. He's already made up the difference between him and Divine. He's 2 points ahead. This is unorthodox of Nani. He takes a long time usually to be able to third party this POI, but he's sensed all the conflict. He's seen all the shots being fired.
This is such an issue for Nani right now. As he chases down Frisk down the hill, he's brought him all the way away from the vault. Yes, there's potential for him to quickly get back into this, especially if there's a Pepper involved, but Frisk will take the fight instead and start things off with a 117 up the sky. Almost gets the shockwave play on Anani. There's Chug Splash on the other side. Another connect. He's completely even the odds, and then he gets the wall too. A right shoulder peek, sprays him through, almost gets him down, almost gets the shot. One more will do, but same thing for Frisk, only 63 HP. Nani with the Chug Splashes at least gets back up a little bit. I was saying he go right back to the vault, another shot, but still doesn't finish him. He chases. This is so risky, 6 HP now. One more shot on either side will do it. And the charge is completely unnecessary. The tack might have the upper hand here, although Frisk knows the HP situation, 0 mats now. I think for both, another shockwave might actually do it. He still has minis over the top. Still mats on Nani. So close, Frisk is done. 302 is where he lands, and that's only 2 points ahead of Divine. That is only an elimination or 48th place for Divine to do to get that extra prizing, to get that extra placement, and end top 3.
For Frisk, it was all about speeding up. Nani slowed him down. We switched over to Dubs, though, who has to move fast. This is the first time I think he doesn't go into a big early game fight. It was Redux who was attacking him game after game. He got taken out way early. I think switching over to completely Fortia. Dubs closer to Weeping Woods, but you'll notice there's no trees, no protection for him. Everything's out on the line for Dubs. He's got the loadout, though. The vault's been secured. The launch pad's there. Crash pads, you've seen how monumental they can be for rotations, for disruptions in the end game. He's got to mat up, he's got to move out.
Already well on his way. And the zone favorite is there, stretched with the boat rotate across the way. This is how he's center zone every single time. Already on the edge of the map, but look, Stretch and Dubs are pretty much by themselves in all directions, in all places. Dubs by himself in the water in the southwest, but on the other side of the map, call it a 2 corners challenge right now, Stretch in the northeast. They are so far from engaging, but also so good in terms of positioning.
Might be a 2 corner challenge, but these guys are not on the same team. Only one person can win, and that'll go down to the 9th zone, I guarantee it. Stretch will have a harpoon to use. We haven't seen this happen from him just yet, but this is business as usual. Getting towards these retail mountains, these Dirty Docks Grotto Hills, looking for shots on the rest of the server. This is how Stretch stays ahead of the game. Dubs will have a little bit more of a challenge moving through not only Authority and the rest of the middle of the map to look for his tags. This is the last game of NA East. It'll be people trying to stick on, hold on for as long as possible. You saw the fight between Ronnie and Frisk. You saw how long these engagements will now last. No one wants to just boil it down to a final 50-50.
Dubs, actually, I haven't seen a player who has gone through as much adversity, either self-inflicted or not, as Dubs. And to come back stronger every single time is ridiculous. No other player has the resilience of our boy Dubs. All the way back to World Cup, the community turns on him. Still performs, comes back stronger. Even back as far as last season, having some trouble himself, self-inflicted harm, I'd say, missing out on complete seasons, coming back stronger. Back again here in second place with an opportunity for redemption.
Meanwhile, on the golden chair at the other side of the table, Stretch, the man in first place, always living in a shadow, finally searching for his own light, for a tournament win without a dual partner, without a squad mate. It's just him and his skills versus everyone else. There are still fights going on all across the map. Paper on Muhammad. Muhammad once again missing out his home, but he's got his classic.
Can we get one last? Never mind. Okay, well, we can get it. One last bucks like fish. One last. What's happened? What's happened, Muhammad? What a day for him. By the way, he's risen from something like 5,000 followers up to 30,000 today on Twitter. From all his appearances across all the viewing parties, of course, Emad, Ronaldo, having such a blast. Got to give a shout out to all the coverage. Really makes this esport stronger.
This is the man that needs merely 2 placements for 1 elimination. We talked about the difference in EU between first and second. It was $8,000. Between third and fourth, it's also very significant. A few seconds of time can be worth so much here to Divine. Some people, though, completely out of time.
And Shia, I know this is a dear friend of yours, but how Rox has fallen. Still a great day for him. 199 points. We'll leave him in the top 15. No, not even. Wow. All the way down to 19th right now. And our game 1 winner, after 8 games, unfortunately, will fall and stay at 19th, probably fall a little farther. I'm sure disappointed for him, but still, Rox is not a player you expect to be in these positions. He's made it to grand finals time and time again, but a top 20 finish, at least before that, is still impressive to say the least.
That's what solos is about in this meta. Regardless of if you're winning this competition, if you're in the grand finals, you're placing in the top 30, top 20, you gain respect. You gain position and power to be able to find better teammates for team modes. This is work put in that will gain you rewards on the way out. And yeah, winning a game, that's a lot. Rox did it. Many others did too. Zextra won at 245, still showing us that no matter how many times he either leaves the scene, takes a mini break, runs into trouble with maybe a few teammates, has volatility in practice, he's still here to play. He's the OG solo god.
Right next to another solo god. In Booga, down below this hill. And it is a craggy cliffs type ending. I was scared for a second because just like Rox, Dubs is in zone, but a much better position for him, and he'll be able to rotate off the side of this. Way up north, even coming off the yacht where nobody stands. If we talk about edge zone rotates, this is one that I have not seen be more successful. Stretch doing his own impression of this, edging his way ever closer. But still, they're working from the outside in, and I think a shot just was fired at Dubs, a risk that he's now definitely questioning. Here's a boat, though. He'll be able to make quick work of this, but also attract more attention than just one shot. Even maxing out on metal, though, every little bit of material counts.
2 match short. Hopefully that doesn't matter all the way in the late game. Get tracking a map utility. Although the bottom right side was a zone that's very hard to play, this is very unique because it offers more options to the player when you're on the northern side, when you're near Craggy, on what to do. If you're on height, you have a mountain to play off of that's not as insane as Cape Cod.
When you're talking about that height, though, you're talking about basically that research station on top of Craggy Cliffs. Think about the positioning of where Dubs is and where Stretch is. He came in on the east side, more central, and you know Stretch is going to push up that mountain and take that position. Meanwhile, Dubs has absolutely no chance to scale that mountain. He does not have the tools, he does not have the equipment, and he does not come for the right road.
But how good will height be when you don't control the shockwave launcher? When you start with it, it's the first thing that gets disrupted when someone is going for the top spot. You know, Ronnie has it. We've seen in games 2 and 3 how dominant he can be when he's on height. He holds it for multiple different zones. Anyone that faces off against him usually does not survive. And the first opponent Ronnie will face, basically, is going to be Stretch.
Spike doing what he's been doing all game, really getting super involved, and finally it works out for him with 2 eliminations. Man, Dubs makes me eat my words immediately. There's a road for him. There's a path. He's already halfway up that mountain. I don't see where Stretch is. I do see Trashy at the top, who has fallen out of the top 10. Actually fallen out of the top 21. That's where he's at right now.
I think it's a bit of a stretch, no pun intended, to be able to go all the way on the right side of the map and kind of clinch your way into the top of this mountain. I don't think there was enough speed for Stretch to actually reach that. Plus, combined players like Nexty in the way, taking shots, working for Surge. He must be somewhere closer to the south side of the map, but that's where things are so congested. Take a mental note of how far away each player is right now from each other, between Nexty, Dubs, Coral, Skittles, all these bases. Once we flip over to the south side, you'll see people just barely reaching into the zone, instantly boxing up, not wanting to waste any materials.
4th zone revealed, and we're ever closer to endgame. We're ever closer to moving zones. The zones that will determine everything. One last huge shout, by the way, to the EU players competing today, the ones who double qualified for grand finals. Savage, Benji, everybody who's had an impact and affected our enjoyment of these greatly. Just seeing that international competition, even though not necessarily the most balanced across the water, still fun to see. Duels between Mr. Savage and Booga and things like that are rare. So thank you for putting on a show.
Here's Stretch. He's in zone. He actually has the opportunity to maybe even block out Dubs. But below these 2 guys, there's still a few smaller stories developing. I believe Cease is still alive in this game. We were on Nico's POV for a hot minute too. Both these players are side by side tied for 223 points each. Bala mentioned in the pre-show, your placement points will not matter while you guys are both existing in this final game. They will have to get elimination points. They will have to be unique to basically further themselves on that leaderboard.
Calm for Stretch. A flow state for him. That's what it's been all day. Placement after placement after placement, not ever losing concentration on the goal for him, the major tournament win. It's in his grasp. It is firmly in his grasp. He just has to not let it slip. Go rising up the hill. He will get into zone with that. Very important. Where is Cease in this game too? Kaz and Crim's former duo partners directly next to each other, and they're also fighting for a top spot in this as well.
We could talk about the what if, the slight elephant in the room of Stretch going down. What does Dubs have to do to catch up? It's a 28-point difference between these 2 players. Neither of them have an elimination just yet. So there will be a little bit of work to do. I don't think placements will get there. It'll have to be Dubs performing way later on in those final zones.
28-point difference, by the way, is basically half of the placement points available is what Dubs has to do above Stretch. The rotate is on for him very quickly, and there's already a couple of people firing upon him, but thankfully it stops. He gets all the way through with nothing left.
How? How did he get this for free? He went beside and in front of everyone's sidelines and finds one of the highest points he can be at. Stretch is now the person playing catch up. He had position before.
Meanwhile, you're right, Stretch does not have the crash pad. He's gonna go in on Kaz. A very risky play, and it pays off. Another 5 points has made the gap. He extends the lead to 33 as both players still alive. The placement points that they've earned have canceled out. By the way, can we get a check on whether Divine is still up? Because if he is, he has just overtaken Frist for 3rd place, and we'll hang on to that almost certainly. He is.
Bucky has a chance. He has a chance too. Divine is up, 3rd place. 100% confirmed for now. But many other players still survive who are fighting for a spot for that top 10. Passing by Divine's box. Stretch now has a leg up. Walkman above him. Booga beside him every single event. Whether it's not the leaderboards, they find each other. Gabe taken out by Aspect. But they started this thing off and they'll end it the same way.
What a moment here. Stretch right in the semifinals, stayed right next to Booga. And here they are again. They cannot get away from each other. Spiritually linked is what Stretch said on Twitter. And I think that might be the case. Obviously, so much influence upon each other, playing through all the team modes up to this point. And who knows, even in Trio F and CS in Season 4, we might get them back. That would be wonderful to see. Of course, both sides are doing well in their trios. That's irrelevant right now. Solo gameplay is underway, and Stretch, all the way on foot this entire time, has made a perfect rotation. Still max HP.
Full max 2 almost. That was absolutely free. Everyone's still left behind in the dust. Booga, Divine in the same boxes. Now the real game starts. 6th zone is moving. Stretch 1 elimination, trying to further the lead. Dubs is alive somewhere. He doesn't have any mobility, so it'll have to be his smarts and any recycling he can do around the right side of this zone. Stretch is moving.
That he is. What a rotate. Still nobody firing upon him. No damage taken for so long now. Where is Dubs? There he is. He's in this too, but only 100 HP. Still has crash pads and launch pads to work with though, so even though he doesn't have the HP, at least he has other resources to bring him forward, which Stretch does not have. Playing the low ground, finally a tack shot has been fired upon him, but it only scratches him for just a bit. He's still up with 37 people alive. So much work still left to be done.
Right now, the position for both these players, Stretch is so close to the zone line. Dubs slightly fall farther behind. He's not only reaching on the leaderboards upwards, but also in the actual game, trying to play catch up. Spike is the one for the first time to actually control height and dictate who gets to move where, but Dubs is very, very close. A launch or a crash pad used to actually move him down. Dubs is gonna make his move to rotate. Straw Hat Charlie right behind him. Nico and Sneeze's story still continues too. Dubs and Stretch are on the right side of your screen. None of them really have progressed much in eliminations. Dubs is making his first move now onto Neff. Can he find one? Stretch is finally fully healed up. This is his POV of stopping Aspect. Can he find the shot over? He's blocked by Zone. A huge crash pad makes chaos, and Who Fishy goes down. Dubs is looking at Stretch though. He can stop things right here.
That he could. A couple shots will go in, but Stretch taking a lot of zone damage. Dubs too. By the way, if Stretch stays up all the way with Dubs, it'll have to be a 7 elimination game for Dubs to overtake with 35 points. That would be now very low HP. Stinks in play too. It could take both of them down. Oh my goodness. 5 HP now for Dubs. He has to layer down. Stretch still in though. Did not take damage from that, but he's above Dubs. They will fall on top of each other as they run out of mats. Down this mountain right here. A couple beams on the Master. The Siphon could be so huge and so important on the Owl. No mats remaining down there. A player in this box. It's Snazy. 2 eliminations. Snazy. Booga and Dubs down. And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Stretch on high ground. And Stretch has won DreamHack Open, the first one of this season. We will have many, many more, but Stretch now a victory lap.
It's all about style for him now. How is he going to choose to end out this game? Who can he stop from climbing even higher? Vevi is still alive, looking to have some type of end game here, but Stretch is 100% the king all the way up top. Aperta, he's looking to survive too. Things slow down a bit. 5 people end game as the ninth zone starts to close in. It's 1 minute until this competition is absolutely over. Stretch has control of all aspects of this game. Reverse ramps down to be able to connect faster. Each player doing as much as they can to move past old builds. Aperta goes up, he has a shockwave launcher, Stretch falls down, cannot take any fall damage or even go near the zone. Aperta is getting chaotic, lots of self-damage done by the zone. Stretch is now back at his home habitat, that blue line. Last mat possibly. A wooden cone down, he has to try to evade and move around places. 1v1 carry goes down. Stretch is on a tear. Aperta can't stop him. The shockwave can't stop him. Dubs is gone. This is Stretch's show. He's still landing shots, looking healthy, looking spry. 3 eliminations, turned it over to 5 years Stretch. Vevi below him, he gets pushed all the way back. Isn't enough to stop this man, this monster, almost there still. Vevi pushed back, but Stretch is your ultimate winner. Aperta wrapping up that final game. This was NA East. Welcome to the first showing of the DreamHack Open.
And that's it, ladies and gentlemen. Stretch is your champion. We have a lot to digest, and we'll do so after one final break.
Welcome back, everyone, to the DreamHack Open featuring Fortnite. We are now done with both of our grand finals. We have crowned our European King. We have crowned now our North American East King. And it's going to be a crazy week, everyone, because we have North American West going up next weekend. So if you thought that this was all of the Fortnite action that we had going on this month, you would be incorrect. So I can't wait. You know what I'm really excited for next weekend, you guys, is seeing which players we saw here today compete again and then qualify all over again for next weekend. Joining me, though, we have Shayo and Bala. And Bala, I just know off of the energy that you were giving, even after the broadcast was done, that was one of the hypest games we could have had to end off the series.
Yeah, absolutely. We got the duel between Dubs and Stretch. They ended up facing off in the end game. No, they didn't really have huge impacts on each other, but man, what a story for both of these guys, and for Stretch especially, to come from a place where the community doubts him, the community in some cases puts a lot of negativity his way. He still responds, and he still responds in kind fashion. A win in a major tournament, one of the hardest tournaments I think we've ever seen, at least in the past couple of months, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, this is really kind of the first major tournament that we've had since May. So it's really exciting to get back into that intense professional level of Fortnite competition here. I do want to take a quick look at the highlights there because I'm sure, Shayo, there were tons to be seen.
That game was a battle for, I think, every single rank, not even placement anymore, but rank on the leaderboard. To start things off, Price kind of pushed a few people off, but then we saw how this fight prolonged a little bit with Suspense Nani taking him out. Gabe afterward working very well. Sphinx once again used to get his pick of the game, but he got taken out shortly afterwards. Benji was still active all the way around on every side of the map, but this was just mid and early game. Once those zones started to close and get shorter and shorter, closer and closer, that's when the real man shine. Stretch all the way at the end, surviving so long, even taking out Carry in the top 5, making it to the top 3. Just the best performance I've ever seen from a player in a tournament.
Ridiculous stuff all the way through, and in the final moments too. All these guys in the end, the top 6 with Stretch, he was playing against pretty much everybody who was outside of top 50, but they still were there. They still rose a lot, and we got to give credits to pretty much every single player who played in this tournament, even, you know, the hundreds of thousands, because it just made an awesome experience all the way through.
Yeah, and you know, credit to Aperta there taking that last victory royale. But as you guys said, it does seem like Stretch is going to be our winner for the North American Eastern region. Let's take a quick look at the top 20 and see how they placed. And there he is, everyone. Stretch sitting on top there with 351 points, almost 60 points above the next closest person, which is Dubs, of course, taking second place there. Divine in third, Frist in fourth, and then we have Buck in fifth.
Yeah, I mean, Stretch, 251 placement points in total. It was 446 points that this man dropped, so breaking that next 100 barrier, so close to 452. I'm surprised that he didn't have as many elimination points as a lot of the other people on the top 5. A little bit lower on that aspect, but so high in placement. He was active every game consistently.
And I also want to point out Snazy, one of the players who qualified for both EU Grand Finals and NA East, showing up today and getting 6th place above a lot of other competitors who had their home turf. That is impressive to say the least. And another name too, Zexra was still here, 7th place for him. That is certainly impressive.
Is there any names that you were expecting to see here in the top 20 that we didn't?
Well, for me, we saw Animal hovering over at 17th to 20th. He kind of got replaced by the old duo Aspect, now coming all the way up and forward towards 15th, still though lingering towards the top placements of this entire tournament, so still very impressive. But shout outs to Nico, Riffmo, all the people in the top 20 for getting such a good competition down. Playing 8 games, it's not typical. I mean, it's the norm now, but it's a big change to adapt to, and these guys are doing it in fast fashion.
Yeah, the entire day, guys, it's been 6 hours of intense Fortnite action, and that's just the North American East region that we've seen. If you guys weren't able to watch all the games, we have a highlight reel right now.
And it's been such a fantastic day all the way through, from beginning to end. I'm winding down my excitement. I'm winding down my hype because there's a lot to remember. And what a day it's been. At the start, there was fights that ended up off spawn. Don't forget, this is EU highlights that we're watching right now. Throughout the entire day, so much was It was Nikov, by the way, the player I keep forgetting, who climbed back in the final moments. Thank you for showing that. And of course, at the top of EU, we had such a duel of fates, pretty much. Mr. Savage almost rising above our Polish player in the final.
Yeah, the rest of the players that were playing here in Europe too. Jordberry taking a few highlights from every single game. Anas was in qualification a lot of the times towards the top spot, but multiple games getting picked off early, getting sniped at different moments. It's close, and he was one of those people who were having some of those battles, some of those duels. One person I had my eye on is Andretta, who had slight troubles, but had impact eliminations from great distances, silent almost in every endgame too, performing, narwhal blocking people off time after time. And when we switch over to NA East, it was kind of different, a little bit more passive, but drop spot identity here, Bala.
Yeah, 100%. Chaotic started things off very much, and an apt name for the day because it certainly was chaotic all the way at the bottom of the leaderboard to the top until the final moments. Frist had a couple of highlight plays, and so did Cody. And it started off with a ton of crazy charge shotgun, hard-hitting plays, especially in game 2, and then followed it up with a duel against Cease that ended up going 1-1, but man, that was fun to watch.
There is tons of great plays made by these players here, the top 100 players that made it from the semifinals. But there's one player in particular that I want to hear from, and I believe we actually have him in the chat right now. Stretch, are you here?
Yep, what's up?
Hey, how's it going, man? How you feeling taking the first win off of this DreamHack Open?
Feel amazing, honestly. Like, solos were never really my strong suit, but like taking the win is just, I don't know. It feels so good being able to win a solo tournament.
First of all, Stretch, congratulations, man. I want to talk about this journey for you in solos because obviously you're no stranger to making it known, your opinion heard, right? Solos is not your strong suit, but FNCS Invitationals changed that. And all of a sudden here, you're winning your first major tournament and really, in my mind, shutting everybody who doubted you up.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to hear about that journey, man. From Invitational to now, man. What changed?
Yeah, totally. I think it was just honestly like my confidence in solos and just like wanting to prove myself almost. Like I never really did good in solos. I was always like a trios and duos player. And then obviously like I started playing on zero ping, which helped me a lot. And then ever since I like just started doing really good in the invitational, like the first invitational week, I just like think I just found out the way to play solos, honestly. Like just grinding a lot too.
Yeah. When I came to DreamHack, playing this tournament in specific, open semis to grand finals, the format, did you have to change the way you approached the game compared to different tournaments? Or was it just the same old Stretch gameplay?
Honestly, in the open qualifiers, I definitely had to W key a bit more because there was more players like playing. And but in the semis, I didn't have to change anything at all. I didn't change the way I played one bit, and I, did fine.
Well, I want to talk about your place.
Go ahead, Kelly.
I just want to talk about your playstyle that we saw in the grand finals there with such a commanding lead over even the second place person. What do you think sets you apart from the rest of the players we saw today?
Just my patience and my mentality, probably. I think solos is like a huge mental game, and as long as you have a good mentality and like you don't tilt at all, like, and keeping your momentum is super important. Like after your I had a couple good games, and then I had a 20th place, which usually after people die there, they end up slowing down, but I didn't. You just gotta like keep going strong, and just honestly having confidence is just so big. Like I can't stress that enough. Like I think people were nervous, and I took advantage of that.
So is that confidence here to stay, man? Like, what does this mean for you in the future? Are you going to be dominating every single tournament? Because this is one of the most dominant performances we've seen since your former teammate Booga, man.
Yeah. I mean, we've been dominating trios. Like, I mean, I plan on just keeping the momentum going. Honestly, I'm going to win everything.
I mean, what does it mean if you get first place in the FNCS solos? What happens then?
I don't know. I don't think anything's gonna change. I still think I'm the best player in the world, honestly. Like,
true.
Ooh.
Stamp it down.
Well, as the self-proclaimed best player in the world, is there anything that you want to say to all the viewers watching at home?
Yeah. I get a lot of questions like, how do I go pro? And like, is it too late to go pro? And like, Fortnite's super inclusive. So like, if you're watching like DreamHack right now, and you're wondering like, can I do this? Like, you just gotta go for it. Honestly, like Fortnite is like so insane. Like, you can go pro at any time as long as you just have the right mindset. And if you don't have placements yet, just keep grinding. Honestly, that's all I can say, really.
Stretch, thank you so much for joining us here. Congratulations again for being the champion of the North American East region. Have a good one, man.
You too.
Oh, I'm so excited. I didn't know that we were actually going to get an interview.
Yeah, that was a surprise at bars. Yeah, enough said, pretty much. I mean, the inclusivity thing, saying I'm the best player in the world, man, he proved it today, at least on a smaller scale in NA East. I want to see and I want to wait, and I want Stretch to be unleashed in international competition in the future, because this is a new Stretch for sure.
Yeah, it's like he started the day off sitting in the chair, absolutely knowing he was going to win, and he didn't seem nervous at all, just completely on that mindset of I'm the best, and he is the best.
I mean, definitely today he was the best, but if you guys are just joining us right now and you missed this incredible weekend of Fortnite action, well, we're actually going to talk about the tournament one last time just to remind you all what Stretch had to do to get here. There was hundreds of thousands of players that signed up between our 3 regions. Out of those hundreds of thousands of players, only 250 would qualify per heat. There was 2 heats per region, which means that in the semifinals, we saw 500 of the best players of their region duking it out to claim the top 100 spots, because today in the grand finals, where the prize pool matters, is where those 100 players competed. And it changed up a little bit from the open qualifiers, where they had 3 hours to complete 10 games and collect the most amount of points. For the grand finals today, all 100 players fought in the same lobby, and you could tell how different those games were, Shayo.
Yeah, I mean, the grand finals will always have a different change of pace, and the biggest thing about them is you only get practice, the proper practice, playing those grand finals. So all 100 players, regardless of your placement, you're going to have such a big advantage on the next tournaments that are going to be coming up. Remember, I think DreamHack's happening every single month all the way throughout the year. So I'm hyped to see what happens next time. It's going to be so much fun to see.
Well, next time is actually going to be next week, guys, starting next Friday for the North American West region. But as we saw this weekend, guys, if you're not from North America West, you could still sign up. We could still possibly see someone from another region take the win from there. But everyone, that is going to be it from this weekend. Bala, any last comments before we end the show?
Yeah, I just want to echo basically what Stretch said. Fortnite is a place of inclusivity. It's accessible to pretty much everybody, no matter what platform you're on, no matter what region you're on. It is a place where you could play and compete for hundreds of thousands of dollars, as DreamHack showed today. And again, it's happening every single month. We got NA West next week, but next month it's happening again. So I can't wait for more. 6 months of this online. It's going to be a blast.
Shia, what last words do you have?
Hey, stay safe, be hydrating, pick an idol, follow them, get to reviewing, get to playing, and just get involved, because it's Fortnite and it's always a blast.
All right, we have some highlights from both Europe and North America. In case you guys just missed it, let's look at those highlights. Just kidding, we don't have the... Never mind.
Or maybe we do.